This is TWiT.
I ignored this story, this next one, the first time it came because I was like, okay, we've heard this before, but it's a big, well-known company, and they actually are doing this, and it's fun. There was sort of a question of whether this was just apocryphal back when we heard that Sun was using lava lamps as a source of entropy. The idea being that when you look at the wax, which is heating and therefore being reduced in density compared to the oil that it's suspended in, and thus it rises up to the top where it cools off and then comes back down, the fluid dynamics are chaotic inherently. You have no idea if it's going to break into three pieces or stay as one big one, or how it's going to undulate around in the oil that contains it. And so it is in the same way that, as I've spoken of before, a reverse biased diode junction that you put under stress by essentially breaking down its resistance to reverse electron flow, which allows electrons to tunnel in a way which is absolutely unpredictable at the quantum level, produces absolutely high quality entropic noise. Similarly, looking at a lava lamp is entropy. And so our friends at Cloudflare, who now handle 10% of the internet, they actually have, and I have a picture in the show notes, a wall in the lobby of their San Francisco facility of lava lamps. Different, actually alternating colors. There are some strange ones. I think that there's one that's just turned off. So they're sort of like, I don't know, red and green, kind of Christmassy looking lava lamps. That wall is being captured. The image of these banks of lava lamps is being captured at the rate of 1,000 times per second. 1 millisecond frame rate is being snapped. That data is then hashed to produce non-algorithmically generated, utterly unpredictable, true random numbers. Remember that random numbers are only pseudo when an algorithm produces them, because if you know the state of the algorithm, then you are able to predict all of the future. Anything that is truly random, like a hash of the photo of this crazy lava lamp wall, that's truly random, because this is going to produce at a rate of 1,000 hashes per second utterly unpredictable results. So it's just very cool. It's simple, but it really works. And so, this is why I've been contending now for some time that it is no longer the case generally for randomness to be hard to have. Early in this podcast, we talked about the problems of generating entropy. And there are instances of devices, for example, if there was like no communication, so that you couldn't use the timing, the high resolution timing of the arrival of wireless or wired packets. There's an example. Or if you have a wristwatch, that has an accelerometer, it's producing entropy because especially if it's on my wrist, because I'm waving my hands around all the time while I'm doing the podcast. It's spewing entropy. No one is going to be able to predict what the future is. And of course, you need to whiten it. That's the term for removing bias, and also make sure that things aren't stuck and that it's reliable and so forth. So there's post-processing you have to do, but anything that's got like a connection to the real world is normally producing unknown, unpredictable stuff. And if you just suck it all in and hash it, you get high quality entropy, which is, what I did when I discussed it. We did a podcast called Harvesting Entropy, because the first thing I wrote, the very first thing for Squirrel, was an entropy harvesting technology to produce really good true random numbers, not pseudo.